that company. Supposing somebody is being unresponsive. It may be that they're processing something and they're having pain or some emotional turmoil that you don't know about. All you know is the behavior that they're being distant. So then you ask questions. You have to go. It's supposing you knock on the door, they don't even say nobody home. Sometimes people say nobody's home. Sometimes you don't say anything. So we go to this. I have a relationship with people who are being unresponsive. Etc. So there was, remember the certain thing, one was don't be complacent, don't be lethargic or lazy, you invest in relationships. The other is communication. What was the third point? Expectation. That like messes up relationships. And then we spoke about non-violent communication. Some of you have heard that term before. Marshall Rosenberg wrote a book. He taught for 35 years. Taught many students. Some of his devotees became students of Marshall Rosenberg, and they just Christianized it and made it empathic communication, to how to communicate when you have feeling for another person, but you're not. This is the other person is meant to fulfill my needs. That's a relationship spoiler. I'm meant to fulfill my needs, and I don't select relationship because this person fulfills my needs. And then if the kaleidoscope moves and they don't fulfill your needs anymore, they're no longer a friend. Anyways, we discussed what a wholesome relationship is, where service is at the center. Those of you who lived us remember that. And no, wholesome is I'm at the center, and what's at the center when I'm at the center is power and control. And then there's petals. This is sociology 101. They teach in college. Then my neediness is I construct my relationship in such a way that I have more power and control, as I'm in the center, and it's all about me. It's not a formula for a wholesome relationship. But when service is at the center, then you don't abdicate yourself, but it's who you serve others. And supposing others, we had some, meandering discussions about supposing others are mean. How do you serve somebody that's mean? We had different discussions rather than people we discussed yesterday. That's what we saw. That was yesterday. Exploring healthy relationships. And then today is meditation helps relationships. So one of the topics, the overarching topic yesterday was in my experiences in the world today, especially younger generation people, but older generation people are not free from being very concerned about relationships. It's very important. Relationships are everything, all that stuff. It's true. Suppose you got your act together and you become like a topper in your class and something. If your relationships are smelly, unfulfilling, not satisfying, rotten, or broken or something, you're not a happy person. You're not a fulfilled person. Anyway, go the other direction. Relationships make all the difference. When relationships are strong, you can perform better. And you're more content within. So, relationships and then meditation. Then meditation is an easy one. You just did some when I was coming in, but it's a certain type of meditation. And in another big, that's 4 bigs, topic is dealing with negative emotions. Modern society, not a new thing, but it's amplified by the lifestyle that people have. In the past, some hardship was like a blip on the screen, you just endured it. Now it's, I get stressed out, then depression, you know the whole picture. So how to deal with negative emotions. And meditation is a very effective, time-tested, practical way of dealing with negative emotions. So how meditation helps relationships, that we're talking. Now, about to begin. Benefits of meditation. Elevation of consciousness. There's testing where by meditation, there's different ways of testing. Brain waves. They can hook your brain up to a machine that says what's the frequency of your brain wave. And a meditative state is not just tranquil, but your awareness factor, the happiness factor, everything spikes. Now, it's brain that's a way of externally measuring it, what to speak of internally experiencing it. When you're connected, put it this way, when you connect with who you really are, more connected with who you really are, you're more effective. Your discriminating capacities, your intellect gets sharper and stronger. Your awareness of your body, your mind, and the bodies and minds and needs of others, it goes up. It's just you become a bit more complete person. Meditation facilitates a deeper understanding of self and others. Yesterday, when there was a mention made, I'll repeat the mention. In the yoga system, you all did some yoga this morning. Yes? Yeah. Not just this morning, some of you do it regularly. And one of the very ancient teachers of yoga, his name was Patanjali. Some of you have heard the name Patanjali Yoga, but he wrote the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's not just one, but the whole, because yoga is a broad category. So one of the things that he writes, by definition, yoga is a method by which the waves of the churning mind subside and become peaceful. So not just meditation does that, but the yoga system overall is meant to do that. That's a target, that's your GPS target. And then he goes on to say, when that becomes mature, it's just like in a body of water. When the body of water is turbulent, then you can't see very deep into the depths of the water. It's churning, the mud at the bottom, and just the waves and everything. But when the water becomes very peaceful or tranquil, you can see deep inside the water. Some of you probably had that experience. And what's inside? The self. The mind is a covering of who we really are. Mind is not who we really are. We're the observer of the mind and what goes on in the mind, the emotions, plus and the minus, happiness and distress and feelings and likes and dislikes and all that stuff. You can be the observer of it, but it's not you. And who's the you? So yoga and meditation helps us discover who we really are. Stay positive. When you're in touch, when you're connected to who you really are, you're more effective. Stay negatively. When you're not in touch with who you really are, it's la-la land. You don't really know what's going on, and you think you know what's going on because you don't like the feeling of not knowing what's going on. So you buy into something that's not really reality. So you find out it's not really reality, and then you're shaken up and you have to go look for another reality. So in material life, or life minus yoga and meditation is like that. So yoga and meditation specifically help facilitate a deeper understanding of the self. And then you have a better understanding of others so you can have a wholesome relationship. If I try to have a relationship with somebody and I don't know who they are, good luck for a wholesome relationship. But it helps to understand health relationships. There's psychological, so remember that iceberg example. There's the mind, and then now we're going to the psychological. Relaxing for the mind, improves our cognition. Studies have shown, modern science has shown, cognition becomes spikes when meditation becomes stronger and more, part of your lifestyle. And you can see things more clearly. It's true. Improves awareness and concentration, become better listeners. That's a big part of relationships. And help people better relate to one another. Relationships, meditation. Then there's the emotional, what goes on in the churning of the waves of the mind. Distress decreases stress, depression, and anxiety. Specifically, I don't know if it's in this presentation. I know a person who got a PhD at the University of Florida on the effects of chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And those of you that are in academia, you have some idea to get a PhD. You don't just come up with an idea. There's all kinds of review people to check out even what your idea is, which is speak of your methodology of approaching that. So there's lots of other persons looking at his model. And his purpose was, without going into the XYZ of it, he just put an ad in the school paper. You get $30 if you participate in our experiment and interview the people to basically evaluate, are they going to do what they say they're going to do? And are they going to report honestly what their experience was? That was the criteria of the interview. Here's $30, just help me with my PhD. We got a grant to give them the $30. And then the people that were selected were broken into 3 groups. And all 3 groups were told the same thing. One group got the Hare Krishna mantra, another group got another genuine Vedic mantra, and another group was the placebo group. Gobbledygook syllables, and they didn't really come, there wasn't a mantra, it was just made up. So then all 3 groups were told the same thing. This is a very ancient and sacred mantra, and will help you in these 3 areas. We want you to do this much mantra meditation for this period of time, for this many months. And then we want to interview you to get your evaluation on. It's subjective, but the choice is people would report honestly what their experience was. And then all kinds of statistic people from statistic department of the university make sure they did their statistics right. And they found that the people chanting Hare Krishna for this period of time every day for some period of months, it had the greatest effect of decreasing stress, depression, and anxiety. And maybe another experiment would get a different result. That one got that result. We got a PhD for that experiment and published a little pamphlet on its finding. Helps manage anger, that's the negative emotion, and other negative emotions. It helps us to respond rather than react. What does that mean? It's a mode of goodness as opposed to the mode of passion. Mode of passion, somebody says something mean or does something mean, or I detect they're trying to mess with my life. I get angry. and I react, say something, do something. My anger gets triggered. And I may do something wild because, to stop this. And then respond is a mode of goodness way of interacting with something that's unpleasant. Respond means you go into a quiet space and you reflect on what is this anyways? What's going on? And when you reflect, something happens. Your intelligence becomes more alert. You start to consider, what are my options? Especially if you're operating from the platform of I'm meant for service. This person probably had somebody hurt them really badly, and they're damaged inside. And because they're damaged inside, their actions or their speech are hurtful. The victim has now become the perpetrator. So now what can I do to be of service to this person? Maybe it's just like check out and put a big distance between myself and that person. But maybe there's something else that you think. So your brainstormingness of options, and when you become accustomed to responding rather than reacting, it happens rather quickly. At least it can happen more quickly than if you're not practiced yet. And then you can choose from the menu what's the best way to be of service to this person who just has this hurtful tendency, or at least between me and two other situations I'm aware of, they're a person. They're probably pained inside. What can I do with them? So then you're responding rather than reacting. And to get into that response stage, meditation, very helpful. But when you don't do meditation, it's really easy to react. Do something, say something, take some quick action, because I don't want to suppress a person around me. Or it's maybe not in your best interest what to speak of there. So meditation helps them become more situated in the quality of goodness in life. But here's a fellow, the Zen master. I don't know the person. I've seen the picture before. Here's the statement. Meditation to help us embrace our worry, our fear, our anger, and that is very healing. We let our own natural capacity of healing work. Now that's Zen Buddhism, but it's a type of meditation. There's spiritual benefits. Meditation means to go within or to go deeper. Is meditation then just to reduce stress? Well, it does reduce stress. It's meant for more than that. It helps us to know who we really are, that was mentioned. And then we can know better who other people are too. And then our purpose in life. Not just like, what's your career choice? Based upon your career choice, you enroll in a university and take courses that match your career choice. But that's different than your purpose in life. It's not like you shouldn't have a career choice, but is there something more to life than what your career choice is? Definitely. I mean, my guess is you wouldn't be here if you said the answer to that question is no. You're here because the answer to the question is, I believe so. I'm just trying to find it. My higher purpose in life. Develop our sense of self and our true nature. Again, it's going to the bottom of that iceberg, that substance image, who we really are, an unchanging reality, many things around us, and many things within my mind. And my relationship, they're always changing. But there's something that's always unchanging. Okay. Now, is this something I'm going to do or you're going to do? Okay. I'll do it. Oh, and the answered all the questions. When you're at the center, it's called ego to be at the center. They have all these kinds of ways of looking at the world around you and people. And then there's the position where there's the soul at the center, of the true self at the center, and the picture changes. Instead of separateness, it's oneness. Not absolute oneness, but a harmony. And there's a likeness between myself and others. Well, like this image I can share. Yeah. Okay, I'll share the image. If you see some other ones you want copies of, let me know. Just send you the image. Instead of judgment, there's compassion. This is like this example: someone does something hurtful. They must be hurting inside because they wouldn't otherwise. They would speak or do what they just did. An abusive, harsh person. There's pain inside. So you feel their pain. There's an empathy. You feel their pain. You wonder how they're processing things. Think about that before you're doing this. So that's when you're the servant. That's the center of everything of life. That are pride, humility, and so forth. There's an element of gratitude. I can't see here. He likes this gratitude. This is seed of love message. So when you receive something, they're being grateful. And I received something and I'm not grateful that it's not what I want. Some years ago, I don't know how many, 15 years ago, I was visiting Singapore. And I came off one of these international flights, 17 hours, and I came in, really early morning hour, and I felt yucky, so I wanted to take a shower. So I was taking a shower and getting dressed. As I was getting dressed, a little girl came in the door while I was getting dressed. Wasn't used to that. And she said, couldn't wait. She gave me a set of bracelets. And my heart melted because I don't wear bracelets, but it was she couldn't wait to give me this thing that didn't totally not useful for me at all. But it was her enthusiasm to give something to her visitor, to her friend. Little girl. I still remember it. It's like, wow. So I'm gonna take some complaint. So why you want first begin? I'm not even dressed yet. What do you do? Say I can't use this useless gift you gave me. So please close the door and get out of here. I haven't seen that young girl in so many years. And I don't know if that impression is in her mind like it's in my mind, but it's just still with me. When something is done with a genuine expression of gratitude onto another person, it melts hearts. Supposing somebody has been mean, but you don't mean that, you're kind to them, bad. It's heart melting. Anyways, look good. Nice image. See this going on the right side? There's a lotus flower, and there's some water. You wait till the lotus flower is growing, and then the water is moving. So when the water is moving, there's a reflection of the lotus flower, and the reflection is moving. That's the image. So the image above, that's up, and then there's reflection. In the spiritual realm, consciousness, there's the opportunity for a meaningful sustainable, wholesome, loving exchange. And when that isn't there, then there's the reflection. It looks like, but it's not the real thing. And it's also distorted as the wind blows water, there's ripples in water. So in this plane, there's lust, and in the spiritual plane, there's love. It's just the nature of reflections. There's some people who say, wait a minute, I love my children, or I love my dog, or I love my spouse, or I love my something. The statement is that's a reflection of the real thing. It's not to say it's a zero, but it's not a one either. Not non-existent, not a zero. That's a reflection of the real thing. Just like, here's another little example I like to use. Here's a mirror. Over here's an apple. And I don't have four hands like that. So there's an apple, that's their substance. And there's a mirror, that's a reflection. And I can hold the mirror in such a way you can see the reflection of the apple in the mirror. But there's no substance in the reflection. You can't get nourishment from the reflection. And what to speak if I turn the mirror slightly, the apple's gone, reflection is gone. So things in this world are like that, a reflection of reality. With me? If you like Bhagavad Gita, you'll find it in chapter 15 Bhagavad Gita. What I just said, the whole chapter contains what I just said. This world is a reflection of the spiritual world. There is a spiritual reality. I shared this in the Meets the Monk session yesterday. For me, there's three things that get me how I got started. We're going to do the Meet the Monk session later. Yes. Yeah. Yes. For those of you who are like this. So, like you, I was also in college a few years ago. Like 20 years ago. And there were three things. There's a higher reality. I'm convinced, I don't, so what it is the second thing. I don't know what it is. And the third thing is I want to know what it is. I'll do it again. There's a higher reality. So hopefully you all have shared that. There is a higher reality. True. And with self-honesty, I don't know what it is. Although I have a confidence, all certain, in the core of my heart, there's a higher reality. I don't know what it is, and I want to know what it is. So this is a reality. This world is a reflection of reality. That means this is not that this doesn't exist, but it's a reflection of reality. And then there's reality. The example in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is a tree where it's on the shore of a lake or a pond, and you look into the lake or pond, and you see a tree reflection where the branches are growing down or the roots are growing up. There's no such thing. Roots don't grow up, and the branches grow down. But that's the reflection. And the reflection is like the image that it's a reflection of. So this world is a reflection of the spiritual reality. Spiritual reality is helping us get to love, which is what we want. But if we buy into the reflection, we're not going to get the real thing, we're going to get the reflection of the real. So this is a stark statement saying the same thing. It's a big pill to swallow. There's no love in this mature world because everything here has a conflict of interest. This was kind of what we spoke about yesterday. Toxic relationship. I have a relationship with you because you supply something that's important to me. And if that supply diminishes, but to speak of it stops, where's the relationship? It becomes a broken relationship. So relationships where there's some interest for myself, it's to be discussed history. the ideal of love in this world is like a mother for a child, and very clearly the person said, because there's no self-interest. The selfless service, the mother to the child. What does the mother get? Happiness of selfless service. It's really nice. The love of a mother for a small child. So, love for another on a spiritual platform where they also have a covering that's different than mine, that's okay. Not just a different gender, but a different like and dislike, values, systems, and other things, I think we still have a loving relationship with another person. There's lots of covering this differences, but the substance, there's a sameness that's the thing we said about it. To love is selfless, to love to be practiced only in freedom, but what is not driven by selfish desire. There's some selfish desire, personal ambition, or like that image yesterday, power and control at the center. And then I build relationships around power and control. If it doesn't fit under my power and control, I cast the person to the side. Then I don't want to have a relationship with that person. Experience true love through meditation. Meditation helps to get in touch with your true nature and your center, thus become a better parent, etc. Meditating helps improve relationships by working on yourself. So that's the theme for this session. The more you respect yourself, the better your relationship with others. That's not self-centeredness, but respecting others as a foundation, and that's respecting, accepting who you are for your strengths and your weaknesses, accepting, but then comes the substance, who you are as a spiritual entity with coverings. Some coverings are like this, and some coverings are like that. That's the package I got. But that's not who I am. I just the respect of oneself goes to the spiritual platform. Frankly. Mantra meditation. The word mantra is a Sanskrit word. Tra means to deliver, and man means the mind, to deliver the mind. Just like this example of Patanjali yoga, mentioned him already today and yesterday. Patanjali, you're squinting like I didn't say it yesterday. No, different. Patanjali Yoga. He wrote Yoga Sutra that explained A to Z about yoga, different systems of yoga. It was mainly interested in the Ashtanga Yoga when you did your asanas, that's one part of an eightfold yoga system. So Patanjali explains this purpose of yoga, I mentioned, is that which brings the swirlings of the mind, chitra vritti in Sanskrit. Those of you that know little Sanskrit. Chitta vritti, swirlings of the mind, like the sea. There's the sea, and there's the sea moved by the wind, and there's swirlings. And when there's swirlings of the sea, you can't see deep into the sea. When the swirlings of the mind, you can't see deep into who you are. But yoga is meant to bring the swirlings of the mind to a restful state, so you can see more deeply what's at the bottom of the sea, or deep down of the sea, which is the sun. The mind, below the mind is the sun. The mantra does the same thing. It's a part of, an essential part of yoga. Many times, I've noticed, because I work a lot with images. So when there's some illustration, some painting of a sage, long beard, and almost always he's got some beads in his hand. Look, next time you're looking at photographs of sages. Almost always, because they're engaged in mantra meditation. It may not be the Hare Krishna mantra, but it's mantra, mind releasing, that is part of that system of longevity. I'm pausing because I'm tempted to share something. And now I have to say it is very messy. Modern science has found that part of the makeup of humans, probably other species than human species, is DNA. I don't know so much about it. I've seen pictures of strands of DNA, and it makes up what bodies are made of this type, that type, and they have different names. They found, this researchers in medical science, they found that DNA has little things attached to it called telomeres. Telemere. Maybe it's Dr. Telomere that found them or something, because they like to name things after themselves. So after they found what does telomeres do? Two main things. Telomeres make for long duration of life if they're strong, and it wards off disease. It protects you from disease, like a defense mechanism for the body, built into strands of the DNA called telomeres. So once they found DNA and then found telomeres, they started to experiment what makes telomeres stronger. And the lady that found about telomeres, she found that exercise for 10 to 12 minutes, vigorous exercise for 10 to 12 minutes, strengthens telomeres by 5%. From that research, it's when brisk walking once a day for 10 to 12 minutes became kind of like a passion. Now it's like this part of everyday life. People that are health and fitness aware do that, but it's connected to telomeres are strengthened. Then they did what are some of the other things that make telomeres strengthened? So something else. Diet, 5%, 3 to 5%, makes telomeres stronger. Gathering together where there's a community experience, 3 to 5%. Naturally. And other things. Much to their amazement, they found that mantra meditation increases the strength of telomeres by 43%. So if you want to live longer and have a healthier life, do mantra meditation. They're studying that for 12 minutes a day for 2 months. Bingo, the bell rings. The telomeres expand by 43%. So yogis or sages put up into mantra meditation, and they lived a long life. And they were more healthy. They didn't have big doctor bills because their telomeres were warding off diseases. It's just, this is modern science. It's not hocus pocus. So I was pausing whether to go there or not. That's mantra meditation. Sound which can free the mind from negative emotions and constant distractions. This is from Bhagavad Gita chapter 6. For one who has conquered the mind, then the mind is the best of friends, but one who has failed to do so, the mind will be the greatest enemy. And here's a nice quote. This is my spiritual master quote. But you should not be carried away by the dictations of the mind, but the mind should be carried by your dictation. That's intelligent. Dictation means intelligence. This intelligence is more subtle than the mind. And when in material life things are upside down, mentioned already, perverted reflection. In material life, mind gives dictation. My dear intelligence, I want some of that. Get me some of that. Yes, sir. Off I go. I've got the intelligence how to get some of that. Or the other, get rid of that. Yes, sir. I'll get rid of that because I've got the intelligence. So The intelligence takes direct dictation from the mind and material life, and yoga does the opposite. So if you want to be able to control the mind, you have to have spiritual intelligence because it can give direction to the mind. Harvard Medical School professor that's dedicated about 40 years. You know, it's a prestigious place, so he had to ask the review of his peers at Harvard Medical School. And he did lots and lots and lots of study on mind-body medicine, particularly with mantra meditation. And he had lots of findings. Here's one of them: the relaxation response about mantra meditation. So there's an interaction between the body and the mind. And when you do nice mantra meditation, it helps the body become restored, rejuvenated. It's just another way of looking at what telomeres do. It's another way of looking at it. It's still Harvard Medical School. Then here's another one. Through modern science, they have a way of hooking up instruments to your brain and seeing what the brain waves are. So they have found, I can describe it, but I don't want to go into it because of time. When one is in a deep meditative state, it exhibits as alpha waves. Beta waves is when you're stressed. And when you're asleep, it's another one. And when you're just doing about business, it's another one. So the alert, the relaxed and alert zone is the alpha wave. And by meditation, it increases alpha wave tendencies, which have reduced depression, gives clarity of thought and emotion, and it moves to creativity. So if you want any of those nice things, go your meditation. It doesn't mean you have to do it all day long, but some part of each day, because this is another Patanjali yoga definitions of practice, yoga practice, that's the part something you do every day for a prolonged period of time. There's standard terms for each of these, and where you have faith is going to take you to a good place. So this is kind of encouragement. This is going to take you to a good place. Do it, but then you have to do it every day for a sustained period of time. Or like they did a discussion yesterday. It's a cultivation. It's not a Kmart product. Or Amazon.com click and in 2 days it comes to your door. It's not like that. It's a cultivation. It takes time and effort. And this alpha wave is the opposite of another, the fight or flight, the parasympathetic nervous system. You can overcome it, the fight or flight, or the reaction to fight or flight. You can overcome it. How? Practice meditation, practice this introspection, and get into the zone where you're more in touch with who you are than thinking my happiness or distress is out there somewhere. I want less of the distress and more the happiness is out there somewhere. Find happiness within. The parasympathetic nervous system gets calmed down. Then you can be more contemplative and more thoughtful, and have better intelligence to evaluate what your options are in the circumstances of life. So this Maha Mantra, I already mentioned this study at the University of Florida, that a transcendental potency necessary for developing complete psychological and spiritual fulfillment that is already inside. That's one very important good news. It's not like finding something out there. It's already there. But it's dormant and it can be awakened. But there's a genuine process. Of all such authentic processes, India's timeless leaders tell us the meditation on Hare Krishna Mantra. There it is. Benefits of mantra meditation cleanses karmic dust, purified consciousness, going quickly, and taking too long. Mantra meditation awakens unconditional love. Only authentic mantra will do this. Good qualities awaken because they're already within, since they're covered. But when consciousness becomes awakened, good qualities become awakened, you become a better person. Good mantra meditation. Okay. Here it goes.
So earlier today, we did mantra meditation together. For those of you who were here yesterday also, we did mantra meditation together. So rather than redo the session now, I would like to take your help and ask for sharings. I shared at the beginning of today's meditation some of the experiences you guys told me yesterday. But I would like to hear more from all of you. What did you feel? How did it help? Any thoughts? Can you speak loud? Okay. So,
yeah, so I think the past 2 months I've been dealing with insomnia. I couldn't sleep till 2 to 3 a.m. But yesterday after the session, yes, I slept up at 10 a.m. So, I think it's because I couldn't get a good morning for you.
anyone else?
Yeah, I can thank you. We go with meditations, for a number of reasons and various ones. There's one that I've been working with for probably almost a year and a half. It's being taught out meditation. And I found that by taking the time to actually sit and do it, literally changed my outlook on how I manage dealing with stress of the world and what's happening in the world. Taking the time to be with myself and to work with these mantras creates a certain resonance in how I feel in my body, what I'm able to do. The meditation that we did today, feeling and being in the room with all of doing it, I also felt a resonance. I could feel actual physical sensations moving through my body that allows me not only to relax, but to also feel into kind of love that gives me access to. It's more than courage or confidence, more like the knowing of being here and trusting. So I found that mantras and taking the time to do it raises my own vibration, and I begin to attract more experiences and opportunities that I always wanted to or that I need to. I feel the way that I want to feel more often. We were talking about responding instead of reacting, learning how to respond to all sorts of things, travel, from the news, from climate change, from meeting new people, how to be present with instead of worrying about what if or fear that might have come in before. So I feel that I've become much more in a neutral space, not neutral meaning I don't care about what happens, but neutral in that things cannot be off in the way that they used to. And then I'm able to be present and direct my energy with more purpose. And then I feel so much better in my body. Also, the last thing I'll say is I recently turned 48, and people have no idea. They don't know how old I am because I look much younger than people assume. And I feel that as I go through the changes in my body as a woman, through perimenopausal experiences, as I tap into mantras and sound and frequency, I feel like I'm regenerative. That despite, yes, I'm getting older, I'm also getting younger. And I really am a devotee of it. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much. One more sharing on your experience with mantra med. Someone who is Geeta.
Someone who is? I don't know.
Someone who is Geeta.
So usually, every time I've done mantra meditation, Mahamantra meditation, it has very calming effect on me. Today when we did mantra meditation, I had a image and two images. So it doesn't make sense to me, so I want to talk about it. So the first image I saw was pretty much the feather, like a peacock feather, and it kept rotating though. And that went away, and then I saw what looked like a landscape. So it felt like three gates, but the gates were like tuning forks upside down. And then it was on water, the water was very still, so there was a perfect reflection. There was no movement. There were clouds, but only on top and one the reflection. And I have no idea what that means. If anyone can help me with that, I would be really.
Maharaj is an animation with three gates. It's the alignment exercise that one of Maharaj's followers made this video of that I really like. I look at it often. The alignment of the body, the mind, and the heart. Maybe and the heart. Yeah. I'll send that video. Maharaj, do you want to do this?
I'm concerned about time. 12:30.
Okay.
No, I mean, you did one on the page.
Okay. So the next part of this exercise is sankalpa. Sankalpa means intention, and intention is Maharaj often says this: where intention goes, attention flows, and where attention goes, energy manifests, and where energy goes, perfection manifests. So intention is very powerful to align any of our activity, including meditation. So, do we have time for affairs?
Yeah, I mean, your timekeeper is 12:30.
How much more time do you need? So, I'll give you just 2 or 3 minutes. Whoever is sitting next to you is your partner. Please think about, contemplate, think about, and share your intention for this retreat and for learning mantra meditation and with your partner. Go, 3 minutes. Throughout the day, and I'll hand it back to our basic speaker to continue. Because we are running out. Sorry to cut you short, but and this is a powerful exercise to set an intention. We will continue to refine it as the day goes on.
What we heard is there's coverings, mind intelligence is the form and the substance. There's mind intelligence and body, from the physical body, and then the subtle coverings, mind and intelligence and earth, different false people. Those are coverings of who we really are. And then there's who we really are. And the who we really are has natural qualities, divine qualities inside the soul. But it's the covering. For when the soul becomes uncovered or awakened or alive and vibrant, then divine qualities naturally give rise from the soul. And then giving rise from the soul manifests in the body and mind and the intelligence. Here is some compassion. I feel for you, understand you, and want to do something for you. Giving is the basis of healthy relationships. So compassion awakening is from the soul. It's not like people that aren't spiritually realized have no compassion, but it becomes more complete compassion. And it's just natural of the soul kind of, you receive something and you want to give something. This dance of the soul. It elevates that emotion of compassion to the spiritual plane. Mantra meditation has a natural potency to open that quality, compassion quality. Compassion extends to service. Here's a modern fellow, Cesar Chavez in South America. Kindness and compassion towards all living things is the mark of a civilized society. So a civilized society has at least is moving in the direction of a spiritual awareness of that natural quality of compassion. Widen our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures. This is Albert Einstein. Check it out. All living creatures in the whole of nature and its beauty. Towards the conclusion of his life, he became a little more theistic. I mean, not like all the way, but look, his consciousness, elevated consciousness and intellect led him to these kinds of conclusions. So, tolerance. What does tolerance mean? It doesn't mean You just put up with other people. It means we make space for other people to be who they are. A little bit of our discussion yesterday, if you remember that part of our discussion. And rather than having an opinion and then labeling somebody they're odd or something, we allow them the diversity to exist because we're all different anyway. By meditating, you can seek closure to unresolved issues, helping you develop tolerance, let go of hurt or anger. Like the question you just had about the passing of your mother. Patience. Start by routinely checking in with yourself during stressful experiences or dealing with stressful people. You begin to respond with more grace and patience and be able to offer the best version of yourself. Now, these are nice statements, and I'm going quickly because we're out of time, but it's true. It's a common phrase I've heard, it be the better version of yourself. So if this is this cultivation growing, as you're spiritually growing, you become a better version of yourself until you're yourself. The packet, the covering is still there, but the covering becomes spiritualized. You follow that one? I'll give an example. It's a standard example. Here's an iron rod. It doesn't have any qualities of heat and light. Put the iron rod in fire. Make the fire hot, hotter, hotter. The iron rod becomes hotter, hotter, hotter. It becomes fire. Along with this iron rod, take it out of the fire, touch it to dry leaves, ignites fire with the dry leaves. So that which is not fire-like become fire-like by association with fire. Similarly, by mantra meditation, that sound vibration is spiritual. Your everything, your intelligence, your mind, your body, your whole experience, all those things on the outside is resting upon something that's spiritual. You become spiritualized by that contact with that which is spiritual. It works. Attitude of gratitude. So quickly, sorry. Gratitude is the condition of the heart that enables spiritual growth to take place. This is my spiritual master's words. Expressing our gratitude has two benefits. We become more conscious of what we have. We connect with the person we feel grateful to. Relationship. Rather than like a child is taking. Feeling gratitude towards that from which we receive. Gratitude is a divine virtue that is so important that other divine virtues could not exist without it. Next one. So the idea here is these are qualities that are intrinsic, covered, and when they awaken through spiritual practice or yoga practice or meditation practice, they become part of who you are. And constantly, like all the time, even when adversity is there. Appreciation. Anyone can find the dirt of someone, be the one who finds the gold. That's the form and substance of it. Forgiveness. These are divine qualities that are in Vedic texts are filled with these kinds of things. They list what the divine qualities are. It's right in Bhagavad Gita and other sources. And they're already there. But then they become covered and we become less than we could be. But by spiritualizing our existence through mantra meditation, they come out. More so than they did before. Darkness cannot drive away darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. It's part of it. Power forgiving. Here's Solomon. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word can stir up anger. So how to become free from anger? Become situated in yourself, and that disturbance that's within the mind becomes subsided by meditation and yoga practice. You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Deal with each other sensitively. This is chapter 7, text 15 about empathic communication. Speech that's true, or honest, but not hurtful. That is mentioned already. Reflection. What's your immediate feeling towards him? What's wrong with that? When one properly sees that in all activities, no other performers in work than these modes of nature, what that is, an anger mode, or that's ignorance mode, it's destruction mode. And he knows that the Supreme Lord who is transcends all these modes, he attains by spiritual nature. That's chapter 14, Bhagavad Gita chapter, about modes of nature. And then, something doesn't appear. So if you see him as a spirit soul, then you can see this fellow. He's a spirit soul, but look at what's going on here. The modes of nature got a hold of him. So how to be in that consciousness when he's screaming and yelling and carrying out his way? When your consciousness is centered on who you really are, you can see that way. That's this wonder. We could try it. Yes, because of time. We're way past time, right? So supposing we did this because of time. Just look at this fellow that's seen without the soul, then chant mantra softly a few times. And you see him as a spirit soul. It's this package in a really dark mode. Poor fellow. He's suffering like anyone. Unnecessarily. What can I do to help him not have to suffer like that? That's the service mode. Okay. Emotional stability. Increase emotional stability. Decreases inability. Or irritability, excuse me, and moodiness. Your emotions become more balanced because the mind is more balanced, because it becomes chitta vritti. The rodha becomes quieter naturally, and it just stays with you like that. Okay, fearlessness, honesty. Look at this, here's John Lennon. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it always gets you the right ones. And John Lennon said, very true. We can be honest and straightforward about our boundaries in relationships and about the parameters of a particular relationship. In other words, this modern language, having boundaries that you're not going to transgress when you're dealing with others, and you request people also observe your boundaries. There's so many anecdotal examples about this. And so I'm running ahead. Here's the next one. A relationship, this I like. A relationship of one soul to another can be established by the mediation of the relationship with the super soul. So there's a nice Chinese fellow. He has a friend. They have some similarities. They both have a beard. Something else they also share. One is spirit soul, another is spirit soul. They're a little different. One yell, the other thing, but that's okay. But there's something else. One has a super soul inside, the other has a super soul inside the distinct super soul. So this message is a soul to soul relationship becomes possible through the medium of super soul. Now that's higher level than introductory level, but that's where the yoga training will take you. Just get on board. That's where it will take you. All aboard. But that's it. We're overdue. I think we're gonna end. Yes,
Yes, you want to take one or two questions?
Okay.
We can shorten this. So very important topic, how meditation can help relationships. Very beautiful presentation. Any questions? Thoughts? Don't have much time to go quickly.
Being honest with your emotion
yes,
for someone's action,
yes.
but practice began in understanding. So I'm not able to do it in a palatable way. It's not very polite or kind. Is it better to not say that and tolerate it? Or
Well, turn the table around. If somebody has some feeling, what would you want them to do? Just like let it hang out, or like let them process it a little bit until they got a little bit more refined, and then they could say it intelligently. Do unto others, you know that. So that's my answer. If you know, there's this, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. So, but say it, so if there's something that may be beneficial for another person, but it's not coming from a beneficial place, wait till you're coming from a beneficial place and say it in a way that's from your heart. It's the intention goes along with the message. That's just the message. Because otherwise it's, you know,
it's more like there's also on this side, right? And there is a level of tolerance within this person also hurt on the other end.
but here's the third position. Someone that knows you well and knows that won't judge you, you share your heart with that person. I'm feeling this. I know I'm not in a wholesome place to express this. You're my dear friend. I'm just sharing with you. I'm not expecting you to clean up my dirty stuff. But I'm just sharing with you. And then you can kind of get it off your chest or get it off, you know. And then they can say whatever they want to say based upon their knowing you. And if they're a wise person, they're not going to kick you and say, go ahead and say it anyways. They're going to help you get to a good space. So that at the right time you can say what needs to be said because it needs to be said. Or maybe it doesn't even need to be said. It's, you know, some other way of process that will come onto the radar screen. You'll see another way to address besides just saying it. So having good friends. Sadhu Sangha. Both of that, your nearest sadhu. Not complaining, but just, you know, I want to share. I want to open my heart. Please don't judge me. I know you won't. I'm saying it anyway. I'm less than perfect. Here's my experience. Please guide me. I like that.
Thank you.
May I ask something?
I guess so.
Maharaj, there were a few slides on gratitude. So my question is, how can we cultivate a deep sense of gratitude? Because oftentimes I feel thankful.
Oh, you feel
Thankful,
thankful, but not gratitude?
yes, thankful on the platform of transactional. So, but there's a world of difference between being.
Oh, yeah.
So how can I cultivate a deep sense of gratitude?
Just a nice dose of reality. Like, what is it that you have? What is it that's yours? It's borrowed plumes. Where'd you get the plumes from? From the source of plumes. If the source of plumes didn't give you that plume, you'd have no plumes. You have nothing to be thankful for. So it's just going deeper. It's a reality check. Yeah.
Okay, I think I do.
Oh,
My question might be a little bit, here towards, specific context. So, okay, so the question is, more about meditating on versus you mentioned Sutra. I come from a Mahayana Buddhist tradition.
Okay.
So I do notice that there are some parallels, like if I go to a puja chanting session with sutras, it kind of has the same effect. So maybe if I be able to elaborate a little bit more about, what are some of the synergies between mantras and sutras, or the similarities and differences, and what is what synergies?
What was the last part? Similarity, differences,
And
and
synergy.
synergy. Yeah. That's a nice word. Since I don't know you, I'd like to be able to respond to who you are as opposed to just, information. So I don't know you, so I'm not sure the best way to respond to the question. That's its preamble. There's lots of similarity or synergy between one discipline and another discipline and another discipline. Naturally, so because they're all connected to diminishing the involvement in the temporary, illusory stuff, and emotions connected to temporary, illusory stuff. Once you start getting a little detached from that, where do you go? So there's that once detachment from the illusion and connection to reality, that there's synergy. And there's techniques or modalities that have no overlap and no synergy benefit. And then there's a difference. This is me speaking without knowing it, but having a little experience from Buddhism before even I got into mantra. My experience is the good step in the right direction, but that the experience is not permanent. That is to say, spiritual sound is of the soul. Meditation, discipline, and practices are not. They deal with the turmoil and the stuff that's going on during the turmoil. And this dialing it down a bit, or significantly. And so you get closer by that process to a nice thing. And it's a good feeling. I'm making progress. I'm heading in the right direction. That's the synergy part. However, where does that go? What's permanent beyond the diminishing of the temporary? I mean, experientially and philosophically, I have answered, but I don't know you. Your time is short. So there is energy because there are principles involved that are quite similar. Techniques are different, principles are quite similar. And then the difference is, where's the train going? What's the goal? Is the goal just dialing down the noise and becoming more quiet and peaceful, and calm and contemplative and honest and good and pure, and less of a disturbance to others and myself? Is that the goal? Or is there something beyond that? Is that a step in the direction of something? There's the difference. Because mantra teaches a different mantra, but specifically spiritual mantra, spiritual sound, takes you to that realm that's beyond the temporary. And you can stay there You can go there, and you can stay there yourself. And then in that realm, there's diversity. It's different than Buddhism. There's diversity. There's plurality. There's spiritual identity and spiritual love and spiritual variety of loving exchanges with the person that has spiritual forms, not the temporary ones, but spiritual forms. Now that's not the thought, based on my experience, not the part of Buddhism. That's part of the teaching or the experience. The experience is serenity. And it feels good. Serenity feels good. And there's synergy in that. But then keep going. What's the keep going part? There's where the distinction is. No, I'm just responding. There's synergy and then there's difference between the two. Speaking generically, and then there's diversity within us, the brands of Buddhism and brands of spirituality. There's diversity within us. Okay, well, last question. You have the honor of the last question. Are you strong voice? You need the mic.
Did you meet him up with Maharaj yesterday? So maybe that can be the first question for the meeting up today.
How do you like that?
You still get to ask the question, Maharaj, just
First.
2 minutes later.
Okay.
So can those who have not done meet them up with Maharaj yesterday, raise your hand, please. Okay, you all